let me talk about an eye injection that is actually good for your eyes, and especially good for my folks who are out there with retinitis pigmentosa or any sort of retinal eye disease. The article says, lab-grown retinal eye cells make successful connections open door for clinical trials to treat blindness. Look at that dude. He looks like a legit, scientist, That's what's up. All right, let's cover the article. It says, retinal cells grown from stem cells can reach out and connect with neighbors, according to a new study completing a handshake that may show the cells are ready for trials in humans with degenerative eye disorders. It says, over a decade ago, researchers from the University of Wisconsin-Madison developed a way to grow organized clusters of cells called organoids, I think I'm saying that right, that resemble the retina, the light-sensitive tissue at the back of the eye. They coax human skin cells reprogrammed to act as stem cells to develop into layers of several types of retinal cells that sense light and ultimately transmit what we see to the brain. It says we wanted to use the cells from those organoids as replacement parts for the same types of cells that have been lost in the course of retinal diseases. Like, for example, I have retinitis pigmentosa. What that means is my retinal cells are dying and then they don't grow back. So once a retinal cell dies in my eye, that's it. And eventually with enough cells that die, I go blind. So that's how that works. So what this is saying is basically there's hope that they can inject stem cells into my eye, which will regenerate growth, which will help me preserve my vision, which is very hopeful. So let's keep going with this. We wanted to use the cells from those organoids as replacement parts for the same types of cells that have been lost in the course of retinal diseases, says David Gamm, which is, the person and the director and professor behind this study. During 2022, Gamm and UW-Madison collaborators published studies showing that dish-grown retinal cells called photoreceptors respond like those in a healthy retina to different wavelengths and intensities of light. Basically, they've done a bunch of tests and it seems like it's going to work, and they're trying to work their way up into human clinical trials, which is the next step. But yeah, that's the thing with, these studies is there's so much red tape and you got to, follow a specific order, and there's clinical trials. And, for people like me with RP, we get impatient. We're like, let's inject this into my eye tomorrow. So yeah, we can hear this stuff and get frustrated, at how long it takes. Because, we'll read this article about this and then we probably won't hear again from it until like 2030 when they just completed the clinical trials and now they're moving on to some other step, and then it'll be 2040, and then it's like they need to tweak something in the formula, and then it's 2050, and they're doing another clinical trial, and then it's 2060, and I'm dead, and I don't get to experience it. I don't know. I don't know how old I'd be in 2060, but I'm just making a point that that's kind of what it seems like. Like my mom has been told, there's things on the horizon, since she was diagnosed like 30 years ago. 40 years ago. I don't know. I'm skeptical, I guess, but this seems really exciting. This seems legit, but I'm the type of person, I don't like to get my hopes up. And I don't expect a cure in my lifetime, but I'm all for this keep moving forward. Obviously, like if I have kids, they might inherit my RP. So this will be really good for them. And as I learn to accept my RP, that doesn't mean that I don't want it cured. I think that'd be silly for me to say. Yeah, you got to think of the future when it comes to this. So I'd love it if they figure this out in my lifetime and I could, retain my vision. That would be amazing. But to be honest with you, I'm not banking on it. If you have RP or a retinal disease, like what do you think? How do you perceive like articles like this? Are you hopeful, not hopeful, pessimistic, optimistic? Let me know in the comments, send me a message or whatever. Love to hear from you, but this does seem very promising, right? Am I tripping?